one chunk at a time, and one brainless fool. Previously, we rolled this death chunk, completed Dragon Slayer, defeated Jad, made some Onyx upgrades, and did some preparation and practice for the Inferno. But a lot of time has passed since then, which means more tasks have cropped up which need to be dealt with. So, we have a lot to catch up on. Since I rolled this death chunk of mine, which was well over a year at this point, there's been a lot of game updates. Between forestry, access to the woodcutting guild, some quest stuff, and a few more things, I got a bit to catch up on. So let's get to it. With the removal of favor, I can now straight up enter the woodcutting guild. Most notably, I'm going to have to cut, burn, and fletch one of these suckers, which requires level 90, 90, and 90 in those three skills. And while I'm here, I've collected these eggs over time, which I can use at this shrine. Anything good? Prey tree, maple yew. Okay, not too bad. Another thing to note about this place is it gives me access to a sawmill, which I have not previously had. So I can get cloth, which first of all would have been amazing for my construction back in the day. But it might help me with the quest Daddy's Home. So I'm going to get some of that, and I'm going to see if I can progress the quest, which I cannot. It needs to be the other sawmill. That's a shame. One very minor detail about it though is I can build this carpet. Yay! One day I'll complete this mini quest. On the topic of quests, and while I'm here, I might as well do Children of the Sun. Children of the Sun? More like Children of the Dun. Completing this quest does beg a question though. Should Valamor be unlockable? See, how I've been unlocking chunks is primarily through land and only taking charter ships if I have to. So take Corsair Cove for example. Technically I could charter ship there and start unlocking chunks this way, but since it's connected up here through chunks on the land, I'll just unlock it through the land. Whereas something like Fossil Island, well, I can only get there by the charter ship, so I have to unlock that by the charter ship when I can. So this can be viewed in two different ways. Since there's these chunks here that haven't been filled in yet with content, we could consider this as its own landmass and unlock it by teleporting from Varrock. But we could also potentially assume that this will all be filled in by Jagex, making this all one landmass. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, on the topic of quests, there is one more thing to address, and that is the Barbarian training. I know there's the addition of the farming. I'm not exactly sure if the game knows what I've done, because I've definitely done a few things, so I'm just gonna have a chat with Otto and see where we end up. Alright, looks like I'm all caught up on this, except for this last part where I actually need to do the Tyboi One-Eye quest, but yeah, everything that I can do is done. And I can now punch seeds into the ground. And this leads me into some non-chunk specific goals. I want to get my Herblore level up to level 80 so I can make my own Sara brews with a +1 boost. So with that I'll be doing some farming, and I don't exactly know what I want to get for that, but it would be nice to get to level 82 so I can plant some Toadstools with a +3 boost. But I'll settle for level 79 to plant some Dwarfweed. So that's just going to be a little background thing for me while I do the other things. And I tell you what, I'm pretty excited about this next part because there's a new shortcut on Crandor that requires level 84 agility. I have level 80. I could go do some agility, but instead I've decided to do something else. Make wine. After all that Cullfight Queen killing I've done, I've ended up with 5,000 grapes. Okay, maybe it wasn't exactly that much. It was 4,700. I did do a bit of padding. But anyway, I filled up some jugs with water. I'm going to slap these together, and that's going to get me to level 90 cooking. Then with a boost, I can get to level 95 cooking, make my own summer pie for an agility boost, and then just do the shortcut. And what excites me about this is the wine doesn't ferment straight away, so if I'm quick enough, I can get 1 million XP in one tick. So let's get cracking. I believe I have a 12-second gap between making the last unfermented wine in the inventory and the first one in the next one, so I've got a little bit of time, but better not muck around. Alright, couple hours later, and this is the last of the grapes. Now let's watch that juicy XP drop. 1 million, jumping straight over level 89 to level 90. Thank you very much. And the question now is, what do I do with all of this wine? Alright, let's go ahead and make some summer's pie. I will drink the boost and get it going. Nice, didn't burn it. We got our summer pie. Now let's go to Crandor. I'm gonna go ahead and eat the summer pie, climb down the rocks, and job done. Farming update. It has been going well. I'm just about to get level 79 to plant my dwarf weed. I'm not gonna push it any further though. I might get another level while collecting herbs. I planted a bunch of magic trees for the farming levels. I kind of regret it though because I did have to spend a lot of coconuts to pay to keep it safe, and otherwise those coconuts would have been useful for some herblore secondaries, but I've still been collecting more every time I do a farm run. On the other hand though, herblore has just been awful. Like when you consider I've only got 2 herb patches and I get barely any XP worth of herbs out of every patch, it sucks. So in reality, herblore's become much less of a background task. Between farm runs, pickpocketing for better seeds, and even pest control, herblore's been my full focus. At 6 points a game and a bit over 2,000 points, you can imagine that would take a while, but I'm gonna cash all these in on herb packs, and I'll see how much XP this ends up getting me. I don't even think it's gonna be worth 150k, more like 100. Man, this just sucks. I feel like I've been doing this for ages and I don't even think I'm halfway yet, and that is also including stuff I already have in the bank, such as these unfinished Avanto potions. I was holding on to these to use for something better, but I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna use everything possible. The desperation level for herblore XP has gotten so intense that I've started doing barbarian fishing for roe and caviar. I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone doing barbarian herblore. If memory serves me correct, this Grand Exchange chunk was one of my more recent chunks unlocked. Relatively, it was still probably a couple years ago, but without that, I wouldn't be able to decant... Where's the... Oh yeah, I'm decanting all of my potions into 2 doses, and that's to do the barbarian herblore. I actually need more vials, really. So far on the herblore front, I've gained about 400k XP, and I need about that again to get to the target level 80. I've been doing the math on the barbarian herblore, and long story short, I should expect about 260,000 XP from it, and including some potions I haven't made yet that are sitting in the bank waiting for me to collect the secondaries, that leaves about 40k XP desired. So as much as I've been hating on this barbarian herblore, it's actually become my saving grace because I was starting to feel the herblore despair. Here's the tab I've set up in the bank for it, so these potions will use the roe, these ones will use the caviar. I need about 2,500 more roe, about 7,000 more caviar. Notably, I've left out the prayer potions, ranging potions, and super restores from this because these are definitely going to be useful in the 4 dose. And that little bit of extra XP I need will probably be gathered from farm runs. Alright, I think it's about time I check out this forestry stuff, eh? So forestry's been going really well. So far, I've got the majority of the kit, except for the top, which I need level 90 woodcutting for anyway. I decided to go ahead and get myself the Twitch's gloves, and I set them to seeds, so with all this woodcutting I'm doing, hopefully I'll get a bit more of those. And I've got a lot of spare anima infused bark as well, so I'm gonna use 5,000. I might as well do that right now. I'll use 5,000 of those to get the log basket. I'm not gonna use it, and I might not use it very often, but it is needed as a chunk task, so I'll get one of those. As far as the rest of this anima infused bark goes, I'll use some of it on the top, but the rest of it I'm not so sure. To begin with, I was doing something a bit different with forestry to get the anima infused bark much quicker. I watched a nice guide from Enux which showed how to get enhanced rates of events, and I was able to enhance it a bit further by adding my own strategy. But you know what? I don't really feel like sharing that method. I'll just say, I got a heap of anima infused bark really quickly. Like, I must have only spent 8 hours doing that method, and it was more than enough to get me the majority of this outfit, except for the top, Twitch's glove, and plenty spare for the log basket which we just bought. So now I'm just chilling here, doing events when they come along, cutting maples, burning them, so I'll BRB when I've burnt approximately 15,000 maples. I am about to get level 89 woodcutting, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't actually need to do any more fletching. I'll touch more on that later. And also for the fire making, I don't need to keep cutting the logs for them. I have just just about 3,000 magic logs just chilling in the bank, most of which, there we go, 89, most of which I got from the Calphite Queen. So I'll just burn those up after I get level 90 woodcutting and then get to level 90 fire making as well. I should also mention that my fire making XP is about 1,000,000 XP behind woodcutting, so it's going to save me a lot of woodcutting by burning the magics in the bank. Alright, I've set this up pretty good to get both my woodcutting and fire making to level 90 at the same time. Very good. I'm gonna go cut some redwood logs so I can get lumberjack top. Heck, I'm even gonna use the log basket. Alright, I've got myself some redwood logs and I'm gonna go ahead and get myself the top. And there we are with the full lumberjack outfit. I realized there's something else I need, that being the forestry basket. So I'm gonna go ahead and get myself one of the log braces and I'll put this together, make myself the sturdy harness, and put together the forestry basket. And I guess this is technically considered the best in slot over just having the log basket because I can wear it so that it frees up one more inventory space. It means I can carry one more log, but I've heard it is kind of annoying to use this. So that means everything I'm wearing right now, bar the Twitch's gloves, is best in slot for forestry. I don't need to get the felling axe handle because it's not best in slot to have a felling axe. And to be honest, personally, I don't think it's really worth even getting. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the anima infused bark though. I feel like down the track I might just use it on sawmill vouchers, but if you've got any better ideas, let me know. And in the duration of cutting those maples, I've got myself quite a lot of bird nests. I think getting the Twitch's gloves for more seed nests was a really good call. These ones were clue scrolls, which I will go ahead and crack these open right now and see if I get any good seeds out of it. I am a fool because I accidentally deposited 28 of the seeds. Let me see if I can find what they were. I think most notably, I don't know, I don't think there's much notable in there anyway. And I figure I might as well deposit these eggs to the shrine while I'm at it. And we have more seeds. You want to know something crazy? All of this barbarian fishing is about to net me another cooking level. There it is right there. And it's actually gotten me pretty damn close to another agility and another fishing level, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get those as well. So I'm actually just a few K Herblore XP away now from level 80. I'm going to finish up the rest of the things I need to do, and hopefully I can just get the rest of the XP from XP randoms, such as this frog token. I'll get a lamp out of that. So that just means in an unprecedented twist, I've overshot with Herblore. I've got all these potions here which I could still use for Barbarian Herblore, and I've also got a big stack of Toadflax potions, which, you know what, I'm not mad about because I can use those for Sara Brews, so I'm not going to have to go farming for more Toadflax. Fish the shark, come on baby. And there we go, there's that fishing level. So I'm woodcutting again because I did a dumb. First of all though, I'm about to get level 91 woodcutting. I did some packing, I cut some redwood so I could get the level up. But the reason I am woodcutting is because of fletching. Remember that time I told you I had a plan with fletching? I don't actually need to do any more fletching. I'll touch more on that later. Well, it turns out that plan was wildly off. So I've been here for a bit collecting some arrow shafts because I have these arrow tips in the bank and these will get me to level 90 fletching anyway. But what was my original plan? Well, it involved making myself a dragon fruit pie, which would boost my fletching up 4 levels. To get that dragon fruit pie, I was going to grow it in a farming patch. And for whatever reason, I foolishly assumed that I had a dragon fruit seed in my bank. I don't. It was just stupid. But anyway, that should be plenty of arrow shafts. I went ahead and got myself some feathers. Now I'm going to spin some laps, get my agility up, and do the fletching. Here comes level 81 agility, and I cannot be bothered running laps anymore, so I'm just gonna fletch. Here comes level 90 fletching, thank you very much. And that means I can now cut, and I didn't forget, burn a redwood log, and that is 2 tasks completed. And with this lamp, I will get my Herblore up to level 80. Look at it. Very nice. I can make my own brews, baby. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be so nice. Oh, I love that. That is fantastic. I can make heaps too. I got like 250 crushed nests. Turns out it was even more than 250, and these amulets of chemistry helped me get some nice extra doses. Look at all those Sara Brews, man. That is so good. Here's something I bet you weren't expecting to see. I'm back at the Wyverns, giving them a smack and hopping between 2 worlds, also I can keep my Slayer boost. And I'm doing all of this just to get a pair of Dragon Plate Legs, which are my best in slot for melee tank. And if you remember back a while ago, this is a task I put on the back burner because it's kind of time gated. Like I can hop between the worlds for about 80 minutes before I hit the hop limit, and then I need to wait a few hours so it's fully refreshed so I can keep hopping again. And after about 100 kills this session, I got it. I was playing on mobile and I was just starting to get sick of it. It was going to be one of my last kills, and there they are. And that has put me all the way up to 706 kills. And mind you, this is a 1 in 512. There's also the Dragon Plate skirt that's a 1 in 512. So effectively 1 in 256. After all those kills, I finally get it. Just prior to getting the drop, about a 6% chance of not getting it. It's also worth noting that there's a few tasks I've done that you'll see in the next episode, such as buying these bits of obsidian armor. I've sort of gone a bit out of order and pulled this episode out of somewhere in the middle of the next episode. And now there's one more thing I gotta do before I jump back in the Inferno, and it's to pickpocket one of these guys. Honestly, don't remember if I've done that already, but it was unchecked, so that means, unless there's more game updates, the only task left for me to do is to get the Infernal Cape. Next episode will be the results of the Inferno, so have a little bit of faith and a whole lot of patience, and your boy will come through with the goods. And don't forget to click that subscribe button if you're interested in seeing the results. So now, let's jump back in. Now I gotta give a huge thank you to my patrons Invalid Cards, Dan Sleeman, Affinity, J-Lo, Burnt Prawn and Luniper for sticking with me. I know the content's been pretty dry recently, but I so appreciate you guys sticking with me. And I promise you, I'm gonna come through with the goods.